What is up, guys? My name is PK and welcome to Documentary Drive. In front of me here is the 2024 GWM Tank 500. The Tank brand is associated with high-end SUVs and 4x4s from the brand, and this vehicle here is no exception. So in this video, we're going to have an in-depth look at the Tank 500, look at all the amazing and unique features that it brings into the field, as well as have a look inside and out. And so, without further ado, we're going to unlock this bad boy and hop on in. Now, as you will have already picked up, one of the most interesting features with this vehicle is that when you actually unlock the vehicle, the side step pops out like so right there, enabling you to actually step on after you have actually unlocked the vehicle, which allows you to hop on. Otherwise, if you are currently busy, if you've got both of your hands busy, you can just keep the key fob in your pocket like I've just done now, and utilizing that depressed portion there, you are actually able to wirelessly lock and unlock the vehicle. I currently have the vehicle unlocked, so if I press this portion here, the vehicle will actually lock itself. Now, there's a touch sensor behind the door handle there. If I touch that, the vehicle will actually unlock, and then that will actually pop out. Traditionally, these mirrors would actually fold out as the vehicle locks and unlocks and locks respectively, but at this point, we've currently set them to remain folded in. Camera right there. We'll get to that in a second. Beautiful black leather interior with this contrasting material that mimics wood. This is actually a beautifully crafted plastic that actually is made to mimic wood. A bit of brushed aluminium right there that actually tapers into a door handle, which is a very nice subtle design. All of this bit is leather. We're gonna hop on in. That black leather continues throughout the interior, in the seats, center console, as well as on the dash. Have a beautiful 12-inch TFT screen and a virtual cockpit. The wood-like finish continues in the center console of the Tank 500. As you can see, it actually runs across the dashboard and all the way into the center console. Now, this bit right here slides back to reveal a wireless charger. You can actually put your phone here to feed Apple CarPlay or Android Auto as you need to. A little bit further back, you find that there's this auto shift stick here, which feeds the 9-speed automatic gearbox. You can actually unlock it and shift into the respective gear by pressing this button right here. Now, on either side of the shift stick are these keys. Now, these keys, this button controls the heating and cooling of the seats respectively. This is the camera, the 360-degree camera system of the vehicle. Now, this one controls the heating and cooling of the passenger seats respectively, and that is the hill descent control. Now, moving a little bit further back, you find that there's these aluminium buttons right here. Now, these buttons are more concerned with the off-road features of the vehicle. For example, this is the front diff lock, that is low range, that is the rear diff lock. This pertains to the vehicle's 9 driving modes. Otherwise, if you're not comfortable with selecting a respective drive mode, you can just hit the auto button here, and the vehicle will auto select a drive mode for you as it says fit according to the terrain over which you are driving. Now, to the right here, you find that there's an automatic handbrake. There's the e-brake. It's called an e-brake. That is the auto start stop button, and I'm going to confirm what this button does over here. Now, a little bit further back, you find that there's a dual mug holder system, which when not in use, you can actually hide away using this tray right here. So you can just open and you can close this tray as you need to, and you can actually open this to reveal some deeper storage. Now, there's a little little bit of a flap here which I can actually put up and down. As I put it up, it reveals an air vent. This air vent filters in cold air from the aircon system to actually cool whatever items you have in here. So in addition to being a storage, this actually doubles as a refrigerated compartment. The climate control system of the Tank 500 features this dual air vent system, underneath which sits these buttons which actually control your heat, your speed, and the zone of the vehicle respectively. Now this is the hazard light button. That is your mode, that's your auto button on off. This button is actually to turn on and off this entire system. That is your Tank logoed analog clock, and you have got 2 extra vents, one on this side and then one on the driver's side here as well. Now this system is actually an 11-inch touch screen system, which is actually very nice. I'll see if I can actually get the screen to start up, because the vehicle's battery is quite low and the vehicle's fuel itself is actually quite low. So what you want to do is, as long as you have the key fob within the interior of the vehicle, I'm gonna keep it there for now, you just put your foot on the brake and you just hit that button to go, and then the vehicle will hopefully start up just like that. Now the vehicle is currently on, right? Just gonna go ahead and turn the vehicle off now, because the vehicle is out of fuel. Therefore I don't want to actually continue to start it on and off, because I will need to bleed the system out at the end of this. Now if we focus our attention to the 360-degree camera system of the vehicle, what I'll do is I'm gonna hit that button to activate the system, and there it is right there. Now currently we are on what is called 3D view switch. This basically allows you to see the vehicle in 3D, and you can actually scroll all around to see what is on the vehicle, what is around the vehicle, obstacles, people, etc. Now on this screen on the right here, you can see it's a drone like footage. You see what's happening on top of the vehicle. Now if we actually hit this button here, the reverse tracking, just want to see if I can hit that. Actually no, if we hit the clear chassis button, yes, now what happens here is that the body of the vehicle clears up and you are able to see what is underneath the vehicle. The clear chassis mode is very suitable for off-roading, so that you can actually see if there's maybe any rocks or obstacles which you can possibly hit and which can actually potentially damage the vehicle. This is actually a proper vehicle for off-roading. And speaking of off-roading, in this vehicle you do have quite a lot of locking diffs. You have got a rear locking diff, you've got a front locking diff, you've got low range. This combination is enough to get this thing over mountains, through rocks, in water, everywhere pretty much that you desire, all while doing so in absolute comfort and luxury, because this vehicle is nothing short of comfortable. It is nothing short of luxurious, really. Now, if we turn our attention to the virtual cockpit of the Tank 500, you find that there's actually information pertaining to the vehicle's off-roading data. In this instance, we find that our pitch angle and roll angles are currently 0, given that the vehicle is on flat surface. Now, using the button on the steering wheel right here, I can control what happens on the right side of the screen. I can actually cycle through the options here, like for example altitude. I can cycle through the mileage, the trip information, the consumption of the fuel, etc. As you can see, you can just cycle through a couple of the options right there. Otherwise, the screen itself packs in a lot of information, and you can actually chop and change as you need to. You've got a beautiful sound system which has got this nice speaker system which actually goes all the way right here. This is your heads-up display, which when activated will display a screen right there. And then, like I said, you do have this beautiful leather finish of the steering wheel, the prominent Tank logo ring, very nice, very beautiful finish. And then you've got the brushed aluminum treatment that continues in the steering wheel as well. Beautiful base, aluminum base of a steering wheel. I love the use of the leather and aluminum interchangeably. It makes for a very premium feel steering wheel. Just if I can just say at this point, I am quite disappointed that that this being a R1,000,000 vehicle, this is not actually wood, but it's actually hard plastic that mimics wood. This is the one feature that puts me off about this vehicle. So if you are about high quality materials and it's something that turns you off in a vehicle, then you might need to think about that if you are thinking about buying the Tank 500, because this is not actual wood. But with all that said though, the leather finish is very beautiful. It's got a heated and cooled seat. The leather is perforated both here and actually right here, and you get these beautiful adjusting headrest right here, the headliner. You actually get the headliner, which you can actually slide out using this button right here. Now it slides all the way out to actually let in quite a lot of light, and then actually it slides halfway through. Beg your pardon, that slides halfway here, after which the sunroof actually opens up and then closes. Otherwise, you might want to slide it all the way to the back if you wish to. If we have a look at the rest of the Tank 500, the driver's seat, for example, is actually electrically operated. You can actually slide it forward and backward. All of this is power operated. You can actually tilt it back and forth. You also have got your bolster functions here, which also work by means of power. You've got this beautiful Tank logo mats, and you've got this nice concealed compartment here. This actually houses your two USBs, USB-A and USB-C and USB-A for charging. And this is a bit of storage here. If you open this bit right here, you find that it's a 12-volt power outlet, and it's actually very cool. A bit of a nice design feature if you look at it. And then if we come down here, this is your that's your cruise control button here. That is your traction control, and that is your hill descent control button right here. And then what we're going to do now is we are going to move to the back of the vehicle, check out the rear compartment of the vehicle, close that. Now, the same treatment that you find at the front continues in the back of this vehicle. Over here, you've got this manual sunshade, which you can just slide down and up as you need to. You get that beautiful leather. You get that sort of wood-like finish. Remember, this is hard plastic, which mimics wood. Otherwise, this is brushed aluminium. Again, tapers into the vehicle's door handle. That's an infinity speaker door handle. All of this is finished in leather. Infinity speaker again right there. And of course, that door step will continue all the way through to the rear passenger. And now we're going to hop inside the rear compartment of the vehicle. Extremely spacious, very spacious. Now, as it is, the driver's position is actually the normal position, in the sense that a person as tall as I am, 178 centimeters, can sit in front and drive comfortably. With that said, as the rear passenger behind the driver, I've got a lot of space, like an extreme amount of space. And you also have got this beautiful pocket here that actually opens and closes, very subtle fashion. Bit of hard plastic here, and then that material, that wood-like material, continues with the brushed aluminium accent. Bit of leather right here. Colored to match stitch, all black. Center console of the rear compartment, you find that there is actually a full control, a full climate control system, which is highly impressive, because you have your own control of the climate control system right here. Basically, you can actually also cool the seats and heat them. You can also adjust. This is your button to adjust air vent speed. That is your button to adjust your temperature. Dual air vent system. So basically, as it sits, this vehicle has got a 3-zone climate control system. You can set temperatures individually for the driver, for the passenger, and for the rear occupants, or in this case the middle occupants, because the rear compartment is actually right behind me, as this is a 7-seat SUV. Now, one of the most impressive features with the Tank 500 is the drive shaft hump. Now, if you are familiar with any vehicle in South Africa, you will know that the middle part of it is normally very like raised, and there is not much space to move about. However, here the drive shaft hump is so low that this part here is almost flush with the entire floor, so the middle occupant can actually sit comfortably and not have to spread their legs to accommodate for the fact that there is a raised portion here. So if I'm the middle occupant and I can actually sit comfortably with my feet held up like that, if I'm the side occupant, I can sit just as comfortably. So this is a very significant touch that GWM has introduced, and I would very much like to see more of it in other vehicles as well. As far as the quality of the rear seats is concerned, it's exactly the same as that you will find in the front seats. Beautiful leather perforated. You can actually heat them, you can cool them, very, very nice. Now the center part of the leather seat is actually, you can actually open that out. If you press that bit here, you get, as usual, 2 cup holders. Otherwise, if you're not using it, you just stow that away. It transforms into a seat. Otherwise, you can just leave it as an armrest. Very, very beautiful, spacious vehicle. Now, it's a shame that this sunshade doesn't open all the way, because it would have actually been a very nice feature. Now, overhead here, you get these air vents right here. You get these beautiful air vents. And then that is also like a sort of a light with a coat hanger, door grip right there. Similar treatment to the other side. That leather with stitching continues. Handle. Very nice. And the most important thing about this being a family SUV, 7-seater family SUV, is the space. And the Tank 500 has all the space that you can actually think of. You can fit in comfortably 3 fully grown occupants, including in the middle seat, which is normally the problem as far as space is concerned. And now, like I said, this being a 7-seater SUV, we're gonna check out the 3rd row seat. Entry into the rear compartment, the 3rd row compartment of the Tank 500 is by means of a couple of steps. Step number 1, you locate the lever right here. This lever, you just press that and then you try to push the seat forward. Now, the seat has actually been pushed forward. Unfortunately, you couldn't see that on camera because I was doing it one man. After that, you just press this right here, and then it sort of hunches that seat all the way forward towards the driver. Now, at this point, the seat has been moved all the way forward, so space is clear to actually pass all the way through to the 3rd row seat. Now, as with every other 3rd row seat in every other 7-seater SUV, comfort and space is definitely compromised because this seat here is actually raised on a higher level as compared to this seat right here, which means that headroom is severely compromised. B, it is quite cramped in here, although I do have a couple of things like, for example, the cup holder. I am actually able to raise and lower the adjacent seat with these buttons right here. Now, it actually gets worse. If I were to move this seat all the way to the back, it does get a little bit worse, because the main problem now is that if this seat moves all the way here, it's going to bump my knees. Now, like I said earlier on, I am 178 centimeters tall, and unfortunately, a person as tall or even taller than I am won't be able to sit comfortably here. So this rear compartment of this vehicle is exclusively for children, preferably, because adults cannot sit here. I'm not going to lie to you, adults would be extremely uncomfortable here. With that said, though, there are a couple of nice goodies that you find here. For example, if I locate this button right here and I just press it, this seat raises by means of an electrically operated operation or mechanism. It's actually a very cool feature. You will find this in the Prado as well. Quite a nice cool feature. So this definitely does give you a reminiscent stance of the vehicle as far as the Prado is concerned. But now, if I was to shift over to this seat and demonstrate how limited space is. I have absolutely zero legroom. I've got zero legroom here as a 178 centimeter tall adult. I've got zero legroom, therefore I'm not able to actually wiggle about. So the third row seat is a no-no as far as adults are concerned. So if you want to fit people on the third row seat of the tank, just fit children. Otherwise, keep your adults in the second and the first rows. Now, the rear compartment, rear design, rear make of the Tank 500 is extremely reminiscent to the previous generation Land Cruiser Prado. Now, in case you're driving behind this vehicle and you begin to ask yourself, what car is this? There will be huge conspicuous writing that says GWM Tank. And in case I might have not mentioned to you, it is in actual fact a hybrid electric vehicle. Now, as you can see, full-size spare tire with a nice cover. Now, access into the boot of the Tank 500 is by means of that handle right there. Now, what you do is, I'm just going to close this properly. There we go, it's closed. Now what you do is you basically put your hand there, you press this black button with your thumb, and it releases the latch of the door. And then it's actually quite a hefty door, this. And then you open the door to find a nice boot. Now, I'm going to be honest and say it's not the most spacious boot, especially if the two rear seats have been raised. However, if we lower these seats and we do so by just pressing this, and then they just lower automatically like that. If we lower them, we are actually able to increase the boot space, and we are able to have decent figures. We are able to have decent space on which to put luggage, etc., which is actually quite a nice feature. And as with every other 7-seater SUV, you do have a bit of a compromise as far as boot space is concerned. I mean, because you cannot have it all. If you've got this raised all the way, boot space will definitely be compromised, at which point you will then need to tow a trailer or something of that sort. And then if we move over here, we find that there's a little lid here, which when opened reveals a 22 volt or 400 watt power outlet. You can actually plug stuff in that, power all your things. This vehicle basically turns into a mini inverter, charges up all your appliances. That is a fire extinguisher, which I think for this vehicle is an ultimate necessity for the reason I'm about to show you now. This vehicle is actually a hybrid vehicle. Okay, this is not where the battery is located, but anyway, this is actually a hybrid electric vehicle, which means there is a high voltage battery stored underneath all of this stuff that I've just showed you right here. So when there's a high voltage battery, you do need to have a fire extinguisher in the event that a fire should occur. And then the boot lid here, the tailgate actually has got this nice storage little storage compartment you can actually do here. Brushed aluminium, very nice. Brushed aluminium right there. If we have a look at the rest of the vehicle, you find that that's your license plate holder, GWM Tank logo. Do not step on this, you will break it if you do that. LED brake lights, that is a reversing light which doubles as an indicator lens as well. Beautiful 20-inch low profile rims. Vehicle is leather frame chassis. Currently the Tank 500 is available in petrol only in South Africa. A diesel variant may be introduced, but when they do that, they will let us know. Beautiful design, very slick. Now the front end is probably the most interesting feature about the Tank, because the front grille itself is extremely prominent with this Tank logo, which as you can see is as big as my hand. Very prominent Tank logo, probably the biggest Tank logo you'll find at the front of a vehicle in South Africa. high intensity discharge xenon headlamps with these beautiful daytime running lights, and these are the daytime running lights, and these are the turn signals. This is turn signals. Those are the high intensity discharge headlamps. The front grille is finished in a beautiful shiny chrome the whole way through. Those are your turning lights, which also double as the vehicle's fog lights. Park distance control sensors. That is your camera, which is one of the 4 in the 360-degree camera system. This vehicle, by the way, is available for 1.2 million at Haval in Woodmead, who have very kindly allowed me to come down and film the Tank 500. Well, folks, it's been a pleasure bringing to you this review of the Tank 500 by GWM. Do stay tuned for more reviews of this nature to come, and thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, everybody.